You know, Pat, my security guys will tell you, I literally just took off my jeans, I changed in the car, which I often do. They almost drive the speed limit when I change because they're afraid if we go off the road, I'll be there in my boxers, you know. I'm a boxer guy, not tighty white or whitey. But anyway, I'm delighted to be dressed up and be here to welcome all of you to the greatest state in the nation. You know, I'm not biased or anything, but we are glad that you're in Vermont. It's great to welcome you here. We got to give a hand to Pat Brennan. He not only, come on, give it up to this guy. Pat is not only the mover and shaker behind our Sportsmen's Caucus, but he really is the reason that you're here today, along with the help of my friend Frank Stanley. Frank, where are you hiding? Thank you, Frank, for your Frank's with the Traditions Coalition has been a huge help to us in Vermont in passing smart legislation and killing lots of bad legislation, and he's a great buddy. But thank you to Pat and to Frank for their great work. Also a member of our Sports People's Caucus, Cynthia Browning, who just came up from 6 miles down the road where her district is. So if you see her staying in a hotel room here tonight, you know, let me know, because that's taxpayer dollars. She can head home. She can give a bunch of other rooms too if you need them. She's got plenty of room in her home. And we've got Clem Bessonette. He's never been this far south in Vermont, have you, Clem? Well, welcome to the Deep South. We're delighted to have you here, Clem. Listen, I also want to give a shout out to the folks who made this conference possible, and obviously a huge shout out to Jeff Crane and to Brent Miller. Brent, where are you? Am I right? Thank you, Brent, for your great work. Not only is he doing great work at the foundation, he helped us pass a bill that I was really excited about, a gun suppressor bill, which I signed into law this year. So thank you for your good work on that bill as well. I also want to thank Jake. Jake made a great film that we're about to see. I know his son, Tony Cuvellis, is here. Tony, thanks for joining us. And I think I gave all the thank yous. If I missed anybody, it's not because I don't love you, it's because I can't read without my glasses on. Listen, the person that I really want to give a shout out to as well is my commissioner of Fish and Wildlife, Lewis Porter, was here today. Lewis, thanks for joining us. Stand up, we'll give you a hand. I'll tell you what, my story about Lewis. Before he became commissioner, he was working for my administration, and I'm actually from southern Vermont. I'm the first governor from southern Vermont in about 50 years. As Cynthia Browning can tell you, we have no people down here. That's one thing that makes it so beautiful. So you know, the people are all up in Chittenden County, living like city folks. We like to say that we've got Vermont, and then we've got, you know, Burlington and Chittenden County. If you want to see Vermont, you got to get out of Chittenden County. But anyway, these guys are all from the city. But anyway, so when I became governor, I moved up to central Vermont. It's a long drive, and you know, being a green governor, I didn't want to burn all that gas. So anyway, I said to Lewis, because I love to hunt, I'm the first governor that was born and raised in the state in about 50 years. The rest of them were all flatlanders from Massachusetts and New York and Pennsylvania and places south, so you know, they can't shoot straight, they don't hunt. So anyway, I got up to Montpelier, and I love to hunt. So Lewis is actually, he's from Montpelier, his family are close to Montpelier, Calais, East Montpelier area, and he lives right up the ridge from me. So we were going on a jaunt one morning, and I don't know where we were headed, I can't remember. We drove by his house, and he said, oh, this is where I hunt, this is where my brother hunt, this is where my dad hunt, this is where we all hunt, we've been hunting here as long as we, blah, blah. And I said, well, Jesus, you know, this guy actually knows where the deer are. So I said, this is about 2 days before the season opened, I said, Lewis, you know, any chance I could go hunting with you? He said, no. So, you know, I didn't make much of it. I was kind of curious, so I said, you know, no problem. No, he said, my brother wouldn't like that. I was like, well, that was a pretty lame excuse, you know. So anyway, he heads out with his brother and all his buddies and everything, and they go out hunting. And so what did I do? I got up, and I'd gone hunting a couple of years before, and you don't think about this when you run for governor, but I had to take security with me, you know. And I love them. I spend more time with my security folks than I do with my fiance. So you know, I call them my wives. But when we're in the woods, I found they made a lot of noise. And you all know, you understand that as members of Sports People's Caucus from all over the country, that's not a noise, and hunting white-tailed deer had never been a good combination. So my guys kept saying to me, when are we going hunting, when are we going hunting, when are we going hunting? And I finally, it was the night before the season started, and I just said, I'm not going this year. And so I got up real early, and I got my rifle, and I headed just a half mile out in back of my house, because what else I could do? I couldn't go on the road. You know, the governor driving down the road with a gun and everything, you know, all that stuff. So anyway, I'm sitting there reading under a tree, reading my press clips, and doing my homework, because I don't get a lot of time off. And this 6-point buck comes up, and it's kind of a tough shot, but I made it, and I dropped it. And, well, I couldn't tell security, right? Because I wasn't supposed to be hunting. So I go, well, Jesus, I've been sitting around a desk for a few years. I'd lost any muscle. So I had to get my girlfriend out of bed to come up and help me drag the thing out. I got it down to the house. I gutted it out. I brought it down. I said, well, Jesus, now I got to report it. And if I show up at the station, someone's going to notice the governor got a deer, and security's going to find out that I'm sneaking around behind their backs with another woman. So I had to call him, and I called him. And anyway, the first thing I did was I texted Lewis. I took a little picture of it, sent it up to Lewis. I want to make sure he, his brothers, and his dad knew that I just bagged a 6-point buck, because they spent the whole season tromping around in the woods and never found anything. So if you have a commissioner and you want to go hunting with him, my recommendation is don't. Anyway, thank you, Lewis, for the hunting tips. I love you, and that's why you're my commissioner. Listen, I just want to say a few words about the challenges that we're all facing. Welcome to Vermont. We are one of the sports people's states that really should shine. Over 80% of the residents in Vermont live in a rural area. In other words, if you're not in Chittenden County, you're living in Vermont, it's very, very rural. We have tremendous respect for fishing, for hunting, for all outdoor, for conservation. And more than half of Vermonters claim that in the last year they've watched wildlife, gone hiking, visited state parks. We had 1 million visitors for the first time in over 27 years to our state parks this year. And it's a huge economic driver. And one of the things, as we face more and more challenges with the culture that allows us to hunt and fish and take care of our natural resources, that we all have to do a better job of in pushing back, is to explain, hey, we are the ones who keep our natural resources healthy, thriving, and maintaining, conserving what you all think in rural states is the most beautiful thing you could possibly see. We're the reason for that. But it's also a jobs creator. It's a huge jobs creator. It's a huge revenue source for states. In this little state, in the last 10 years, we have literally, nationally, as I'm sure you all know, 680,000 jobs are attributed to the various sportsmen's and women's activities that we participate in. In this state, it's a huge economic driver. Hunters spent $38 billion in this country last year. And we generated $11 billion in tax revenue. These are the things that folks don't get when they say, you know, we should shut all this stuff down. Anglers spent even more, $41.8 billion nationwide in 2011. So what that translates to in our little state is $685 million when you take hunting, fishing, and wildlife watching combined. I mean, that is huge. So it's a huge jobs creator, it's a huge economic driver. In terms of the thing that Vermonters and many of your states value most, which is our natural resource, this is why conservation happens. It's because of us, not despite us, as many of the folks who don't really understand what we're doing sometimes get wrong. When you take Pittman Robertson and Dingle Johnson, you take just those two pieces of legislation that have been in place now for a long, long time, those two revenue sources alone have done more to conserve natural resources that the public gets to enjoy than any single effort that we know of yet. So these are the things we need to educate our constituents about. When you're back home, we got to sing this song. Listen, this isn't about whether we take people's guns away. This is about managing our natural resources. This is about conserving the natural heritages that mean so much to each and every one of you, quality of life. And this is also about jobs, economic activity, and really having a good economy. If you look at the angling community, it also makes an extraordinary contribution to the economy. Vermont has one of the highest wildlife-based recreation participation rates in the country at 62%. I think the only one that's ahead of us is Alaska. Is anyone here from Alaska? No? A couple? They must be out hunting. But anyway, they're the only ones that beat us in that regard. The Vermont Constitution established our right to hunt and fish in 1777, and we fight valiantly to protect our rights to continue to do so. So long and the short of it is, listen, we're up against some pretty tough challenges. I know that in each of your states, there's a lot of talk about, how we deal with smart gun laws. My own view as a governor, and don't forget I'm a Democrat, is that Vermont has, for Vermont, the best gun laws, among the best gun laws, sensible gun laws for a rural state in the nation, which is almost none. We protect that with great vigor. And I can tell you, and I tell this to my Democratic governors and to my Democratic colleagues, that it is because of our culture of hunting, of fishing, of protecting our natural resources that we're sensible about guns. Vermonters don't have the challenge how to deal with firearms because there's tremendous family and traditional support for the ability to continue to maintain our natural resources, to hunt, and to manage our resources. So, it's common sense that we continue to live in an environment that we want to keep thriving for future generations. And we can't do that unless we maintain smart gun policies. And Vermont is doing that, and it's an example of how to get it right. So listen, I want to thank you for your work. I want to thank you for standing up. This is not an easy time to be part of a sportsman and sportswomen's caucus. It really isn't. But when the things get tough, the tough get going. And what we have to do a better job of is educating folks who weren't born with these traditions about why it matters to them. And it matters to them because more than anything as a nation, one of the things we really hold dear is our natural resources, is our wildlife, is our fishing, is our environment. And we are the people that are supporting the legislation, you are, that's helping to maintain those rights and that privilege. So I just want to say thank you. Now I hope you're going to get some time. I was in charge, the administrative branch of government was in charge of making sure we got you the equinox, got you well taken care of, got you well fed. The legislative branch was in charge of the weather. I hope that you'll get some time to, get out, to enjoy this great state. This really is one of the states that is the best quality of life in the country. We have a huge local grown agricultural rebirth renaissance going on in this state that you'll see as you start to drive around. I'm the governor. Anyone here from Wisconsin? No? Well, then I can tell you this story. Wisconsin used to always win the cheese awards. They always won the cheese awards every year. I'm the governor that got to move the National Cheese Award #1 from one little Vermont farm to another Vermont farm this year. Wisconsin, take that. They dye their cheese. Our cheese is fantastic. We got the best maple syrup, we got the best ice cream, we got the best locally grown meats, and you literally can't go to any Vermont town of any size on a Saturday or Sunday from May until about this time of year without going to a local farmer's market where there's all kinds of great food being grown and sold. Without going to a restaurant in this area, you'll see locally grown. The other extraordinary thing that's happened in Vermont that I never would have predicted, you know, we've got one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. We're the third lowest in the nation, the lowest this side of the Mississippi. We're growing jobs like mad, but it's coming from all kinds of sectors. And what I never would have predicted is beer. You know, Vermont is winning the World Beer Awards. Who drinks beer here? Anyone? Yeah, there you go. I just want to urge you to get out and drink some Vermont beer while you're here, and drink a lot of it while you can. And you know, I'm a big supporter of deer hunting in Vermont. Huge revenue source. We've got great buck. It's a great place to hunt. Moose, buck, whatever you're after. But we now, I think I'm the only governor in America who literally has a beer hunting sport up here now. And it's bringing us jobs, bringing us development. I'll tell you how it works. This is really amazing. I mean, who's here heard of Hetty Topper, or who's heard of Hill Farmstead? Who's heard of Lawson's? Any of you? Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from Maine. Oh,
yeah. Well, good to have you here. And you're not a bad state to hunt in either. Your deer are a little scrawny, but we're glad you're down here. But anyway, we literally, this is how it works. You know, what do you love to do? I mean, why do you hunt? You hunt because, sure, we like the game, we like the food, but it's being in the woods. You know, it's getting up early. I've been doing it since I was 11, 10. I don't know, whenever my dad would take me out. You know, you get up early, it's dark. You go out there, watch the sunrise, and you wait. You wait some more, and you wait some more, and you eat. You walk around a little bit, move around, sit down again, you wait some more, the sun goes down. That's got to be one of the greatest spiritual experiences that you can have. It really is. For a governor that works hard, legislators that work hard, you should be doing that every year. Well, what these beer hunters do, they get up real early. This is really true, and it's a huge industry now. If you're leaving here on Sunday, you know, watch out. There's a lot of traffic going south, traffic jams. But they'll get up in Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maine, New Hampshire even. They get up real early in the morning, a lot earlier if they're far away like Michigan. And they drive to Vermont. And they'll go sit outside of Hill Farmstead, or they'll go sit out of these breweries, Lawson. They've got their little, you know, silver tins of coffee there, you know, those little coffee warmers, kind of like it's their rifle, and they wait. And they sit there and they wait. And the sun comes up, and someone shows up, and they get in line. They literally line up like it's a rock concert, and they can't get tickets. And they wait some more. Then they'll go into these places, you know, get a 6-pack of this stuff, or a 12-pack, or even a case. It's really hard to get. You can't get it down south. And then they'll drink a few and feel pretty good about that, and they'll load it into their trunk, and they'll take it back home and put it in their refrigerator, and they invite their friends over, and everybody shows up, and they celebrate that they're drinking this Vermont beer, you know, because it's winning these beer buzz awards all over the place. And you know, all their friends love them because they've got it, and it lifts up their otherwise miserable lives because they don't live in Vermont. Everyone has a great time. So I just want to make sure that while you're here, you get out and you get some of our cheese, get some of our beer, get some of our ice cream, get some of our locally grown products. Really enjoy it, because I can tell you, you are in the promised land. Welcome to the promised land. Stay as long as you can. And I'm really honored as a governor to welcome you here and to wish you a great journey.